Hello, grade 5. How are you today? We're going to talk about Lower Canada in 1820. You already know the difference between Upper Canada and Lower Canada. We're going to talk about how people live in different regions in Lower Canada during the 1820s. First, we're going to talk about rural life. What is rural life? Well, it's la vie à la campagne. What do people do during the seasons if they live in the countryside? We're going to talk about the four different seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. So let's start with the first one. We're going to talk about spring. So, what do people do during springtime? During spring, they take care of newborn animals. So, you have the small little babies that they were born, and people need to take care of them: pigs, chicken, cows, etc. Then they have to prepare the fields. So why do we prepare the fields? Actually, people put the seeds, les personnes mettent les semences, they put the seeds in the soil. So after some time, plants are going to grow, like this one just right here, but they're going to grow. And during springtime, they harvest the maple sap for maple syrup. So they need to take all these water, as we said, but it's not water, it's maple sap, l'eau d'érable, that comes from maple trees, so they can make some maple syrup. But now the question, what do you think they eat during springtime? In spring, they eat bread, fish, and some canned food. So I do have some examples, but people usually use mason jars like this one to keep food fresh during the different weeks during springtime. Today we use a lot of canned food like this one, but it's the same principle. You need to keep things fresh. Tu dois conserver les choses fraîches et la seule façon, c'est dans des pomaçons ou aussi dans des canettes. Les canettes n'étaient pas aussi importantes à cette période-là. People tend to use canned food. They used to eat canned food. Now, let's go to next season. We're gonna talk about summertime. So during the summer, what do you think people do? First, they work in the fields. So before they were preparing the fields, now they work in the fields. They need to cultivate vegetables. They do not harvest vegetables. Ils ne sont pas en train de prendre les légumes qui sont prêts. Ils les cultivent. They take care of the fields. They work in the fields, so vegetables are going to be ready for the next season. All right? Now, what do they do during the fall? They harvest the cereals and vegetables. What kind of cereal do you think is this one? Maybe you have an idea in French. I'm gonna let you answer that question. All right. But what do you think they do during fall, and what kind of cereals do they harvest, and what kind of vegetables? So I'm gonna show you some vegetable they harvest during the fall. So carrots, they harvest potatoes, they harvest onions, turnips, des navets, and we have something that we like to eat. I don't have everything here, but I have some raspberries. And what do we do with the raspberries? We create some, we put it on top of our toast in the morning. Some jam. So we create some raspberry jam, strawberry jam, blueberry jam, whatever kind of jam you want. But yes, that's the kind of vegetables and fruits that we harvest during the fall. Also, people eat a lot of meat. So remember those newborn babies? Well, now they grown ups, but unfortunately, because we like to eat meat, well, not Mr. Daniel, but a lot of people like to eat meat, They butcher and slaughter some other animals. That means they have to kill some other animals because, well, if we want to eat meat, well, that comes from an animal, right? They also eat lentil soups, potatoes, and some salted bacon. Now, before I leave you, what do they do and what do they eat during the winter? So that's a question I'm gonna ask you to go find the answer. I'm sure that you can find already answers in your head. What do you think people do in the countryside during wintertime? So I leave you with that questions. Make sure that you answer that question on my document. I'm gonna put it down, I think here. If it's not here, just write a message on Classcraft, all right? So think about what people do. We were talking about what? What did we talk about? We talk about rural life, what people do in the countryside, and what do they eat, depending on the 4 different seasons. So remember this question. Okay, so see you soon, grade 5, and let's wrap up just right here. Bye bye.